Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, you want me to only go on my break when you tell me to? Okay, I'll do just that. Don't want to pay my asking price? Okay. You have to be on camera more. Sorry Miranda, I was just doing what you told me to do. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You want me to only go on my break when you tell me to? Okay, I'll do just that. This malicious compliance happened years ago, and I remembered it while writing a YouTube comment. At the time, I was either in or just out of high school and I made my money bagging groceries at the local supermarket. This job was very interesting, and there were a slew of terrible people employed at my location, but this story only has a cast of two people, me, the overworked, underpaid grocery bagger, and my butthole of a supervisor, let's call him Ray. Ray was an absolute twat to everyone in the store, and nobody liked him. His shenanigans actually birthed my first romantic relationship, but that's a story for another day. The way my days at this job worked, was I'd show up for a shift, clock in, and go up to whoever was supervising the front end that day. We had a rotation of 3 to 4 soups, and I was cool with almost all of them because I actually did my job, and asked them what the roster for the day looked like, who's here, when are they going home, if anyone's coming in, and breaks. I was particularly interested in my break time according to the roster, so I can plan my shift accordingly. Ray was one of those supervisors, and for some reason, he hated when people would ask when their break was. Somebody would ask, and then he'd scream about when it's your break time, I'll let you know. Which might have worked for the cashiers, but not us baggers as we'd be all over the store and also out getting carts. One day, I asked him when I'm supposed to go on my break and he blew up saying he'll let me know when it's time for my break. I work the rest of my shift and tell someone else I'm going on my break at a reasonable time and while there's coverage. I come back from this break and he stopped me again to tell me he's in charge of the breaks. I say nothing and finish my shift. Cue malicious compliance. A few days later, he and I are working again. I know he's gonna scream about breaks again, so I just don't ask. After all, he'll let me know, right? So instead of talking to the supervisor, what that day was Ray, and letting him know I'm here, I just start working. And I continue working. And then I work some more. Finally I realize 7 of my 8 hours has gone by and I haven't had a single break. But Ray never did let me know it was time for my break. A few minutes after I thought this, Ray somehow finds out I've been working 7 hours today with no break and he comes running up screaming at me about how I didn't take a break and how dare I and the company's gonna get into major trouble because they worked me 7 hours without a break. I'm 90% sure I was under 18, so I was still a minor, and then asked why I never took my break. I responded with, well, Ray, you said you'll let me know when it was time for my break. And you never let me know, so I never took a break. He exploded again and screamed at me to take my FNG break now, and I finally took my 15-minute break, worked another half hour before clocking out to go home. Ray kept being a butthole about everything, but he always gave me my break times in advance for the next few months until he threw another fit at someone else and walked out of that store for good. Everyone else was completely amicable, and after Ray left, I had no problems with breaks again. Update: people in the comments are bringing up the legality of this, and how Texas sucks when it comes to break law. That's not the point of the post. Also, I have had a few people inquire about the romantic relationship I mentioned, so I'm gonna post the story of the relationship here. Her and I met while working at this job, and we both hated Ray, for good reason. We started going to Taco Bell on our days off together to vent about Ray and his bullshit. Those Taco Bell trips turned into a friendship, then a relationship. We had a good time. I went with her to her games. She was a Special Olympics gold medalist, and she came to my graduation. There was also talk, jokingly, about us getting married. We dated for about a year and then she broke up with me via FB Messenger after telling me she cheated on me. That was also years ago, and she's reached out asking if I want to get back together a few times, but I'd honestly rather be single. Her family absolutely loved me though, and they called her an idiot for breaking up with me. Don't want to pay my asking price? Okay. Years ago, I sold my first motorcycle. It was a good bike, but as it was my first motorcycle, I had laid it down a couple times doing stupid stuff, so it wasn't perfect. I took good care of it though and always replaced damaged or scratched things because I didn't want it to look bad. Well, except for the left side of the engine, aka, the stator cover. The sides of most motorcycle engines will often make contact with the ground and get scratched up if the bike slides on its side, which mine did on several occasions. I had replaced the stator cover before and didn't want to go through that again, even though it's only about a $120 part. Plus, the scrapes on the stator cover weren't that bad and I could live with them. So, I list my bike for sale, show it to a few people, and along comes a dad with his young adult son. Now, the dad, being an older and wiser rider, riding for as many years as the moon has orbited planet Earth, knew he had the better end of the bargain. He was there looking at my first bike that had been gently crashed before, which I was fully upfront about. Easy bargain, right? I was pretty firm on my asking price, for one simple reason: I was going to throw in all the brand new parts, accessories, and maintenance items I had accumulated for this bike. A couple of oil filters, case of oil, brake pads, a new stator cover, and even an inoperable engine, which still had many good parts on it, but if and only if they had paid my asking price. This was easily over $300 in parts, excluding the engine. The dad of the buyer played the bad cop in the scenario, pointing out things that he thought could give him some bargaining power, and then of course made a lower offer. I entertained the offer, but at the same time informed them of my conditions for getting the spare parts. We don't need the spare parts. Okay. I counter-offered, explaining that my asking price was already very competitive given the condition of my bike. We settled on $100 less than my asking price, so they left with only the bike, and none of the parts. A few days go by, and the buyer reaches back out to me to ask if they can come by to pick up the stator cover, for free, to replace the scratched one that was on the bike. I replied with, "Sorry, I am going to sell it to make up for the discount I gave you on the motorcycle." A replacement stator cover costs more than the $100 they saved on the purchase, but if they paid me that $100, they would have gotten the cover, along with supplies for their first oil change, $80, brake pads, $75, sprockets, $90, plus a whole nother engine to tinker around with. The engine had catastrophically failed, so it wasn't worth much, but the parts on it are still expensive to buy new. You have to be on camera more. I work remotely and must attend standing all-staff video meetings for my office on Mondays and Wednesdays. They are almost always pointless. Our most senior leader knows next to nothing about the work most of us perform, but we must listen to her drone on about the mission and insecurely fill any moment of silence. On any given meeting, about 2/3 of people are off camera. I assume they are doing actual work during this pointless time, as I try to do. Despite most people being off camera, my big boss told my manager to tell me that I need to be on camera more. Evidently, leadership feels like participation is dropping off at the standing meetings. I asked around and no one else had been told to do this. So now I show up on camera during the entirety of every standing meeting. But I try to time my meals so I am eating the whole time. Some meetings during busy times it is just me and leadership on camera, them talking and me eating and clearly disengaged. When I am not eating I will try to obviously be typing and answering emails. Sometimes I will walk out of the room to go pet the dog or make a sandwich and just leave my empty chair on camera. Guess you'll have to feed your egos with someone else's attention. Enjoy watching me messily eat a sandwich while you search for validation. We could all do our jobs just fine without you. Sorry Miranda, I was just doing what you told me to do. Our last house was in an HOA. Our garage had our 2 pickups in it, but my husband's mechanic truck was too long to fit in the driveway without being over the sidewalk, which was against HOA rules, so he couldn't park it in the driveway. He parked it in front of the RV gate that had a gravel driveway. Well, one day we got a violation letter for parking on the landscaping in front of the RV gate, so I called and spoke to the HOA manager, Miranda. She said if we wanted to park there we had to pave it. I asked her, so you're telling me that we have to pave it? She said yes. So, we paved it. Then we get another violation letter a couple weeks later, this one accompanied by a fine, saying we needed to get permission to pave the driveway. When I called up Miss Miranda again I told her that we were not responsible for paying the fine, nor did we need to ask for permission, because her literally telling us to pave it was giving us permission. She tried to argue against that, citing some HOA bylaws about applications and approvals and some such nonsense. I wasn't having it and told her that if she wanted people to follow the rules then she shouldn't tell people to break them. She was pissed but ultimately dropped the whole thing because she knew she had messed up. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.